All right, thanks again for joining me here on 3 Minute Knives, where we go over the ins and outs of a particular knife in 3 minutes or less. Usually, once again, I have a pretty special knife here that I'm probably going to go over my normal time limit. This is the Kansept Knives Goblin XL, designed by Marshall Noble of Noble Knives. Now, if you remember, they came out with the Kansept Goblin about a year ago, and it's a small knife, a lot smaller than this one. Um, I'm not typically into small knives, but the Kansept Goblin is one of my favorite smaller knives. Just the whole design of it just works very nicely. So let me go over the specs of this guy real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Overall length of this, now this is a prototype version. They have not actually released this yet. It won't be released until later this year, hopefully by the end of the year. So let's go over this real quick. We have an overall length from the tip of the blade to the tip of the handle here, about right 8.5, 8.5. Blade length is also, is that coming into focus there? So about 3.5. Handle length, just at about a little over 5. If you go to the tip there, about 5.25. Blade thickness from Marshall Knives, Marshall Noble directly is 0.13. Width is 1.6. They are using TC5 titanium for the handles, TC5 titanium for the hardware. This particular version, since it is the prototype, is 9CR18 steel. The production version will be S35VN, which I love S35VN. It's probably one of my favorite all-around steels. You can't go wrong with it. And it also keeps the cost down. I don't know what the final cost of these will be, but I'm sure it's going to be reasonable, right on the money, where most similar knives are. So yeah, so Marshall Noble, he's been in the knife making business since about 2002. He went full-time with it in 2015. He also designed the Kaiser Vindicator. So he was working with Kaiser already, and then Kansept, is kind of an offshoot of Kaiser. A lot of the people that worked with Kaiser, they jumped ship and started up Kansept. So he was already working with some people there, and that's how the Kansept Goblin came about. Goblin had a good response, so now we got the Goblin XL, which I dig it. It fits for me, it feels great. Now I have long fingers. This is a pretty wide handled knife, which for me it's perfect. I don't like skinny handled knives. I can fit all 4 fingers on there. If you choke up because of the design of the handle here, you can really choke up nicely. Some nice jimping on the top of the blade here. And this is a front flipper, just like the smaller version. I like the jimping on here, and I like that when it's fully open, this kind of lays flat right down into the handle. It feels nice. Feels really nice. Pocket clip, same pocket clip they use on the smaller version, and it works great. It's perfect. It's not your so-called deep carry, but it's almost. I mean, you're not really getting much of that left sticking out of your pants there. So I'd say it's almost deep carry. Ceramic bearings with milled washers. You have ceramic detent ball, the stainless steel lock bar insert. I mean, everything a titanium frame lock should be, it's right here. The handle design is great. There's no hot spots on here at all. Whatever grip you want to hold it in, it just feels nice. Very, very smooth. This is the prototype version, and it is so smooth. I hope they do not change anything with the production version. One thing they will be changing, from Marshall himself, they will be adding a hidden lanyard tube, probably like right in here somewhere. So that's the look of that is going to be a little bit different. It's just a very nicely made, nicely designed. And Kansept knives, if you're not familiar with Kansept knives, they are making some great stuff. You know, even their budget version knives are just really spot on. If you haven't tried one, just pick up something from Kansept and you'll be pleasantly surprised. And then, you know, maybe go for some of their higher end stuff. Yeah, this one, I love it. It thumb flicks out great. It finger flicks. The front flipper is just so smooth. You know, one thing I've always hated with framelock knives, I hate when you have such a strong detent that when you go to thumb flick it, especially for me, my fingers, they kind of sit. For most knives, they sit more forward, more into the knife itself. So a lot of knives, if you put any pressure on that lock bar, it makes it difficult to thumb flick it out. This one is perfect. The detent is nice. I can't shake it out, so that's nice. But, you know, you can lay your fingers on there, and it's not going to affect the flickability. I like that. Yeah, it's just a great knife. The Kansept Knives Goblin XL, designed by Marshall Noble of Noble Knives. Like I said, this is the prototype. The production version will hopefully be out later this year. You gotta pick one up. I think these are gonna fly off the shelves. It is such a great design. Titanium frame lock, S35 VN. I mean, what's not to like? What's not to like? It's a pretty knife. I mean, if you anodize these scales, some pretty color designs on there, that would be a showpiece. You could set that on the wall. Yeah, great knife. Kansept Goblin XL. When they come out, get one. I dig it. All right, thanks for watching. Please like, share this video. I want people to know that this is coming out. Share it as much as you possibly can. Subscribe to my channel. I usually put up at least 1 or 2 vids every week. Some things new, some things old that I just like and I just want to share. So thanks a lot for watching. Kansept Knives Goblin XL.